Hey, good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone? I'm so sorry I couldn't do my live stream last week, but this week we're going to do two live streams to make up for the last week. Let me know if you can hear me okay. How's everybody's trading day and weekend been? Yes, I am looking a lot healthier today. Not last week, the week before, I had the worst hay fever ever. So, yeah, I seemed very, very ill, but I actually was fine. It was just the hay fever was just killing me off. But yeah, let me know who I've got here. If you guys trade, where you're at in your journey. Today, I'm going to go through the trades that I've taken today. And we'll break down my strategy again, just in case we get some new people here. And obviously, I'll answer any questions that you guys have. Um, I've just got my phone next to me so that I can just answer any questions. Okay, so Freakster, you're saying you're in drawdown by 75%. Is that on a live account or a funded? Well, I'm assuming it will be a live account. It can't be a funded account because max drawdown's probably going to be about 10%. Um, oh, thank you, Kiklo. But yeah, so this week we're going to do two live streams to make up for last week. We just had a bit of a run in with our schedules. So yeah, I want to show you guys the trades that I took today. And I also want to go through something that I have been massively researching and doing a lot of work on. And I wanted to share it with you guys because this is a very, very common thing that I'm finding for traders, including myself, is how many of you guys FOMO trade? Um, which, if you guys don't know what FOMO it means, it just means fear of missing out. So it means like, you get into a trade purely because you have a fear of missing out, not because you're following your rules or whatever, but you get this emotion inside you, it makes you feel impulsive that you just have to enter the trade. You may have missed your entry for whatever reason, or you're feeling yeah, that's usually the normal one. You like miss your entry, prices move too fast, or uh, yeah, you're getting like these feelings of this fear that you're going to miss out. So you just enter the trade anyway. How many of you guys are guilty of this? Don't feel ashamed because I 100% am, which is why I was looking so much into the emotions of trading. And I want to actually start sharing with you guys what I find and what I'm doing to overcome these things. Um, but yeah, I have been in sales all day. But yeah, let me show you guys what I've been looking at. So if you guys don't know, I pretty much only trade gold. That is like my go-to. The reason why I only really trade gold is because for me, I'm always trying to trade less. I used to overtrade and just want to be in the market so much. And anyone here who's traded gold, you know that there's a lot of opportunity. If you miss an opportunity, there'll be another one in the next session. So it's not like it's a pair that you have to wait, once a week for a good setup. But yeah, let's have a look at gold. Let's see what it's doing. So firstly, guys, I trade trend lines, um, support and resistance, but I don't really trade the bounce off. So I don't just trade because we're at a trend line. Usually, I like to mainly trade the breakouts, but I also trade key levels. And that's what I was trading kind of today. So I'll show you guys what the process is when I jump onto the charts. So we're starting on the daily time frame, and I'm just going to show you guys how I draw up my trend lines. So really, all you need to do is make sure you're starting with the kind of the lowest point of like what you can see on your screen. And you can see here gold, we have to keep creating steeper trend lines because gold just doesn't come back down to the original trend line, which was all the way down here. So when I go through each section, I'll then go over to the comments to answer questions. But I'm going to show you step by step, like what it is that I'm looking at, how I mark up my charts. Guys, I think I'm also going to do a giveaway. So anyone that uses my code DoeyFX with Think Markets, not Think Markets, sorry, ThinkCapital, but you have to select the Think Markets platform, so not MT5. And right now I'm using Think Markets. Like you can see this on the screen. It literally looks like TradingView. It's so good. I love it. So yeah, anyone who ends up using my code, please contact me because I'm going to do giveaways, free accounts for anyone that potentially uses my obviously not for everyone, but you'll be entered into a giveaway where you could potentially win a free challenge. So yeah, anyone who does use my code, please do let me know so then I can add you to my monthly giveaway, which I think I'm going to do like 2. So yeah, just going back to it, we've done our bullish trend lines. Now I always like to try, if it obviously gives us the opportunity, but a counter trend line. So that would be the bearish trend line coming down. So it's always good to just kind of mark up and see where price is. Now I'm going to also mark up the daily key levels as well. So let's just have a little look here. The daily key levels. This is basically your swing highs and your swing lows. And also just key areas where price seems to reverse a lot. So there's actually 3 for me for gold at the moment because we've kind of been in this consolidation momentum for the last 3 months. We've got like this section in between here. So if you guys don't know how to draw up your key levels, this is personally how I do mine. I literally go from the top of the wick to the body, or the bottom of the wick to the body. So yeah, you can see that every time that prices come into this area, we've had really big reversals. This is where I'm looking for my swing position, guys. This was like, we've got a big move come in. We've only been down there once because we're in an uptrend, but we've been to this middle section a lot. So you can see, we touch here, reverse, touch here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously we break through, but we still end up going back up. Like it's just an area that we mark up. It's not that I trade the second that we get into those zones, but they're like key areas of interest. So this is where I'm looking for a reaction or a position to take. So yeah, before I go down to the next time frame, which is the 4-hour, I'm just going to have a little look at some of the questions. Okay, so yeah, a lot of you guys are FOMO trading every day. So I'm going to go through with you what I kind of been discovering about where FOMO actually comes from. We got to go deep into this, guys, because, trading is so much more about your mindset than it is the strategy. Because if it was strategy, we'd all just be rich right now. The harder part is actually overcoming the emotions. And this is the part that people don't really like to talk about that much because it's not as, it's not sexy. It's not, oh, look at this strategy. It's, it's the harder work, in all honesty. How many trades per session do you recommend? So guys, what I want you guys to know about me is that I don't try to get too specific on like, right, I can only do this. I can only do this. When it comes to trading, it's all about the process. So if the process shows itself to me once, 0, 3, 4, 5, depending on what I'm doing that day, it's all about the process, not about, okay, we need to do 1 trade or 2 trades, or, I used to be like that. And it's all been a trial and error of what works for me, what doesn't work for me. But now I've become so fixated on the process rather than the outcome. And it's all about, okay, this is what I'm looking for. We got to tick the boxes. If we don't tick the boxes, then we're not going to trade. And if we do, then we're going to trade. So there's no specific amount of trades, but patience, yes. Yeah, so I'll go through after I've showed you guys the trades that I've taken today. I'll show you guys what I've come up with through research about where FOMO and revenge trading is. Well, I guess, no, I would say FOMO and revenge trading are two different things. So today I want to talk about FOMO. No wonder people love it and enjoy it. Yeah, I'm a gold person through and through. Got gold nails as well. Yeah, gold is my. I'm gonna call her a girl. So you trade key levels and structure. Amazing. Yep, trend lines. Yes. So I was trading this one in the last one. I only traded twice last week and they were losing trades. I had a very, very busy week last week. It was my daughter's first birthday. And I've said to you guys, I'm going to be so transparent. I had 2 losing trades. So I was actually down further, but my trade today was a winning trade, which is why I'm now back up to in profit of 785. I would usually trade a lot more than 2 trades in 1 week, but like I said last week, I kind of wasn't focused. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop, and we're going to come back and start fresh this week. You know, part of trading is losing. You've got to be a good loser, and I'm going to be so real with you guys. If you're new here, or if you've been trading for a while and you don't want to be a good loser, then you're going to struggle to trade. You know, I'm not going to feel any type of way that, you know, last week I was in a higher position that I was in this week, because I achieved that from 2 trades as well. I was in profit and, you know, close to 1,000. We're on the first day today. We're in profit. You know, it's all about managing your emotions to make sure we don't end up spiraling. Yes, so I will see if someone, if I've got any of the Think Market team on Think Capital team here, please could you type in the chat and pin DoeyFX as the code. But yeah, it's just DoeyFX. But yeah, amazing. Honestly, I'm loving the platform. I'd never used the platform prior to, because I know that they have their own broker as well, but I've only been using the prop firm side of things at the moment. But I'm planning on moving my profits over to my live account. But yeah, this is phase 1 because I wanted to make sure that I share this journey along with you guys and just be super transparent. But yeah, last week it was my daughter's first birthday, so I'm giving myself, you know, I had to give myself some time. Okay, we've got a lot of. Are you a day trader? So I used to be a scalper, guys, and this is also a transition that I'm being very open and honest about, because I used to be a scalper, but I'm actually trying to transition into an intradayer / swing trader. You got to go in stages. It's a very, very hard mindset shift to go from scalping when you're in the market for literally no more than like 15 minutes to trying to hold these trades. It's a completely different mindset. So yeah, that is where I'm at. Okay, but yes, I did trade today. I will be going through my setups. All right. Oh yeah, there we go. They have pinned the code, guys. It's DoeyFX, and then I will enter anyone who uses that code into a giveaway, so you have the potential to win a free challenge. Okay, so let's move on. I've shown you what I do when I first come onto the markets every single day. I'm drawing up my daily trend lines. I am also putting in my daily key levels, and this is going to give me a really good image of where price is currently at. So when I came onto the markets this morning, price was literally at this trend line. So I knew we were at a very pivotal point because I was looking at the charts last night before it opened, and I was like, right, we are at a really, really important key area because we're at a trend line, but right behind this trend line, we are also at a daily key level. So even if this was to break out, I would have been very, very skeptical about taking a breakout trade off this trend line because we're about to run into a really, really reactive, it hasn't broken past this level once because that's the all-time high. We haven't passed this level once yet. We've come into this zone and we've had our big swing trades nearly every single time. So I would have been very, very reluctant, and we would have really had to show real rejection for real volume to show that we were going to be breaking through this trend line. But what we got instead was we were seeing a lot of rejection off this trend line. And if you noticed, gold has seemed to literally trade from zone to zone. So this key zone to this key zone, back up to this key zone, back down to this key zone. So, if we can get in a trade here, we're looking to come back down to here. So let's go down on the time frames now, and we'll start to show you what this is looking like on the lower time frames, because now you can actually see what is happening. So when I looked at the charts yesterday, there was like none of this. So we were literally, this was the trend line. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so sometimes on the 4 hour, I slightly adjust my trend lines because I like to make sure that my trend line is at the top of the wick. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, you can see here, on the 4 hour, this is a structure point here. What I mean by structure point, it's a high or it's either going to be a high high or a lower low, or lower low, high high. I'm not sure if I got that right around, but let me just show you guys that this was a structure point on the 4 hour. So this was a higher low. This was your higher high up here, but it didn't create a lower low at this point, but it also didn't create another higher high. It actually started to create an equal high. So now we're starting to think, we're at a really strong trend line, because it's a daily trend line, it's a 4 hour trend line, it's not a lower time frame trend line. It's respected the last 3 times that we've been at this point. So we got to now anticipate a potential reversal. So we're going to start going down on the lower time frames to actually see what we can see. Okay. So guys, I am explaining the strategy literally from the start to the finish. I'm sorry if you guys have missed it, if you've just jumped in, but I will be doing these streams like every single week. This week we're going to do it twice, so I don't want to just keep repeating myself. If you have missed bits, I'll answer other questions, but if it's like, repeat the whole strategy, it is going to be repeated every single week for you guys. But the guys who have been here from the start, that's going to be a bit repetitive. So okay, I'm just thank you, Mon. Market drops the resistant level. Okay, we will go through the psychological side of things soon. Please, 1 hour. Yep, so I'm going to start to show you guys what it's looking like on the 1 hour, and then we're going to go into our entry model. I always tend to hold my winners too long. Yeah, like this is honestly really, really common, and I am going over the weeks that I'm here with you guys. I literally want to try to narrow in on all the different mindset blocks that actually stop us from being profitable traders. And I'll go away, do a load of research, come back and share that with you guys, share what I found. Market drop, I didn't even mark up the daily. Okay. So I'll talk about risk to reward in a minute. But yeah, the way that I trade, guys, it is a very, very simple price action. I don't use any crazy indicators or anything like that. I'm literally using trend lines, support and resistance, key levels, and understanding market structure. So what I mean by market structure is, are we in an uptrend? Are we in a downtrend? So are we in the extension, or are we in the corrective pullback? We have to understand where price is at within that market structure. So it's not just about up, are we going up or down? It's a little bit longer, a little bit more to it than just that. No, so I will keep going through and show you that I don't just trade the breakouts. It is occasionally I will trade like the reversal. So it's going to be like a bounce off. Technically we're moving up and we reversed here. So I traded the reversal today. But yes, your key levels are basically your swing highs and your swing lows. So that means, the highest point where price is currently at, and that swing low, which created that highest point. But your swing highs and your swing lows should only really be on like your daily or your 4 hours. So it's not any, and not anything on the lower time frames. Okay, so now we're looking at the 1 hour. We've gone through what we saw on the daily. We could see that we were at a really important area because we were coming up to a daily trend line. So we're either going to break through or reverse. And now we start to go down the time frames to start to see what price is showing us. So this was, none of this was here. All of this red, none of this was here this morning. So what you can see, guys, is that price created this high. So this was right here is your structural level on the 1 hour. Right here, this blue line right here is your low, and this here is your high. So we created another higher low, so we can move that up here, but we failed to break and make a new higher high. If anything, we started making equal highs. So now we're getting indication that price, we're slowing down in the strength with the buyers. Now we're getting a bit equal, and we're creating this huge range. So this in itself is a good indication that we can start to get a reversal. Some people who are more confident trading the bounce off trend lines, which is not something that I particularly do. So for me, I'm going to need more confirmation. Some people, this would be enough. I know it sounds too simple. I know it sounds too good to be true, but trading is simple. People make it very complicated. They want it to sound more, what's the word, like they want it to sound very technical, so you sound like a trader, where in reality, if you understand market structure, if you're moving up, you're creating higher highs and higher lows. If you're moving down, you're creating lower highs, lower lows. And if you're failing to do so, this low here failed to take out this high. The whole point in this low is to take out this high, because we're in an uptrend and we're failing to do that. We've tried once, tried again, we tried again, we tried again. You know, so I hope you guys get the gist. The lows here are failing to take out the highs. We're at a very key area. We're at a respected trend line. Just behind that trend line, we are a really key zone for reversals. So, you know, there's going to have to be something so big fundamentally or so much volume for us to push past all of these points in themselves. So yeah, you could have taken a position from the trend line here, but this is not what I did. So what I was waiting for was the break of the structure. So we get a candle closure on the 1 hour here. So you can see here, this closes out just about, and this closes. So now we're going to go down even further on the 15-minute and the 5-minute, because the 15-minute and the 5-minute are the time frames that I use to actually take the position. So I don't want to pay too much attention to what is happening on these time frames, apart from when I'm ready to take an entry. Okay, just reading some of your comments, guys. But yes, so guys, I just saw a comment here about the code not working with MT5. It doesn't work with MT5. You have to do this code with the Think Markets or TradingView platform. But honestly, I mean, most people use TradingView anyway, but I love the Think Markets. Right, it's actually called Think Trader. Think Trader Capital. Right. Take a breather, guys. Think Trader is the platform. Obviously, Think Markets is the broker, and Think Capital is the prop firm. But yeah, the Think Trader platform is just so easy to use. I love it. Honestly, literally identical to TradingView. So really do recommend it. Okay, so confirmation still bears. Yep, it's still very bearish to me right now. No, I don't only trade on the trend line, but when we get to trend lines or key zones, this is where I'm like, okay, these are potential positions for our swing trades, because like I said, we like to trade from like zone to zone. So if we're at one side of the zone and you know we're anticipating moving to the other side, it's obviously quite a good area to be looking for your longer positions that you're going to hold. But you can take trades, you know, on the way down, but it's just really important to understand where you are in that market structure. Where are you from? So I'm from just outside of London. Yes, we will talk about the psychology, guys. We will. I just wanted to break down the trade that I took today and just show you guys again the strategy. But yeah, very very simple. Confused trend line breakout confirmation. Okay, there was no breakout of trades trend lines today, but I will go through that with you. I don't trade any order flows. Like, I have learned a little bit of ICT and like smart money concepts, but that's not really how I trade. So I'm not gonna you know, I'm not gonna go through all of that stuff because I don't know too much about it. Come on, I like that. There's a lot to think about. Yeah, I always get so confused with the Think Markets, Think Capital, Think Trader. There's a lot of things. But yes, so okay, now let's go into the entry for this. So like I said, I've just shown you the backstory as to why we're looking for our sell entry. So like I said, we waited for price to break the structure on the 1 hour. So this was the last previous higher low. Now we start to create, I mean, this is a bit of a fake out here because it kind of just pushed straight back up. You could potentially move it here. To be honest, it's a bit of like a zone. So as soon as it like kind of breaks this whole area here, we know we've got sellers really kicking in. So I'm going to go down now to the 15-minute to show you guys. So we got this push right down here, and ideally I wanted an entry all the way back up here, but it didn't really give me that. So we have to understand that this is the indication that we are definitely looking for sales. We have to anticipate a pullback. So I call this the corrective pullback. Sometimes this can come all the way back up past that last previous low. We just got to wait for price to show us that we are ready to actually start moving down. So the way that I do this now, and by the way, this is just one, this is like kind of one type of way that I trade. It just depends what the market shows me. So this model is kind of like, we're using trendline concepts, we're using the different time frames, we're using market structure, and for your entry, we're now waiting for the corrective pullback to be over. So, a lot of people are going to be FOMO trading here. I nearly did, but yeah, that's why I actually started looking into all the FOMO stuff today, because I had like this overwhelming sensation to just want to get in. But yeah, what we want to do is be patient and wait. We wait for the pullback to happen, and then we wait for the market structure on the lower time frame. So if we go down now to the 5-minute time frame, so we can see that price is making higher highs and higher lows. We're literally moving up like this, but then we start to not make a high. So this was a high here. We start actually making higher lows, kind of, or equal lows, equal highs, sorry. So we're now starting to get our shift. So this is our pullback. This is like that consolidation phase. And now we start to create the lower lows and lower highs. So I actually got into this position after this was broken here. So I actually had a position, I think it was around here, because these were your lows. Then we have our stop loss above these highs. And then basically what we do is we just continue with the continuation. We stay in the trade until price basically breaks the trend. And I actually did get a little bit confused with my trade today, because I came out when we were around here, because price did get I paid a bit too much attention on what was happening on the 5-minute instead of switching back to the 15-minute. So we were creating these these lower lows and lower highs, and then all of a sudden we started to create this equal high, and then we broke through. So then I actually decided, right, I'm going to come out the whole trade there. We took partials. I think it was at 53, so it was a really big move. Let me show you guys. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Please do click the like button, guys. I really would appreciate it. We're really trying to get this live stream out there, because I just want to try and help the trading industry with showing a bit of what's the words? Honesty, because there's a lot of toxicity in this industry. Yes, I do trade very, very simple. Hey, FX Bashi, I hope you're okay. Oh, you're off. Hope you've had a good trading week and trading day. Yes, I do sometimes look at the 5 minute. But yes, it is. This was the trade that I took today. This is what got me back up. I mean, I was still in profit even after my 2 losses last week. But we were literally like, this was like a $400 trade on a 50K account. So I feel, that's good. That's like nearly 1% in a trade. But yeah, so this is just where we were at. We took this continuation, but there was, we had a lot of patience to be had. Because there was a lot of moments where I just thought, oh, prices is going to go, but we got to be patient. We got to wait for these things. And yeah, this is basically where I got confused, where price kind of tried to create this movement upwards. But if I show you guys on the 15-minute, it never broke structure on the 15 minutes. So this is what it looked like on the 15-minute here. So, you've got to really be able to understand the difference between internal and external market structure. This was the high, not this. And, it started to, and this really, all it was a corrective pullback. It never broke, it never came up past this structure point on the 15-minute. I was just a little bit too wrapped up in just following the 5 minutes. So I would probably recommend, for you to stay in the trade until the trend is broken. So technically we should still be in this trade now, because there was no points here that were actually broken on the 15-minute structural wise. So until now price starts to really show us some indication that we're going to start reversing, we're going to stay in this trend. Another way to stay in a trade is to stay in the mark up your trend line. So to be fair to myself, technically, we had a bit of a fake out with this trend line. So even if I was using this as my safety line, we did kind of break out of it. I would have come out. So I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. But yeah, this is where this bearish trend line is now. So we want to basically, this type of, someone asked me earlier, what's my risk to rewards? It changes every time. We want to stay in these trades for the trend. This is how you're going to get your bigger moves. Trade with Taj. Hope to get funded with ThinkCapital soon. Yes, it's amazing. Like I said to you guys, I want to do this journey with you. It'll be great for you guys to, be sharing your journey with me as well, coming onto these live streams, holding yourself accountable, because I guess, we're all here for the same reason. We want to stay profitable. And one of the ways that for me, that was a big shifting point was actually when I started to do live streams. And I'm not saying that you guys have to do live streams, but show up to a live stream, be part of a community where you have to let people know what you're doing, because then you might think twice about spiraling out. Because when you're on your own, when I've been on my own, I used to do one of these things, guys, and I'm going to be so honest with you, but I think it was like a couple years ago, one of the biggest, most common thing that I always used to do was I used to tell myself, I'm not going to trade for the rest of the day. And within like 10 minutes, I would be in like 2 trades. But that's because I'm on my own. Because if I was on stream with you guys and I've told you guys I'm not going to trade, and then you see me go into a trade within 5 minutes, you're all going to be like, what the hell? So, you know, being part of a community, holding yourself accountable with other people actually does help the process. I really do believe that. Okay, so I don't use Bollinger Bands, but maybe. To be honest, like a lot of indicators give me the same. Like I've known other traders who use like indicators, and sometimes we come up with this exact same trades. I'm literally purely just using market structure, trend lines, support and resistance, key levels. That's it. So yeah, just like an overall breakdown of this trade, we saw where we were in the market structure. We were at a bearish trend line on the 4-hour and the, sorry guys, just making sure this doesn't fall out my ear. We were on, God, I am losing my words here. But yeah, we were on the 4-hour / daily trend line, bearish. So we figured out where we were in that market structure, and we were just under a key level as well. So key levels, trend lines, we're either going to get a reversal or we're going to get a continuation. But usually we're going to get some kind of big move. So because we were rejecting off the trend line, we couldn't push through. Market structure was showing that we were not creating high highs and high lows. If anything, we were kind of creating lower lows and lower highs. So this, set the tone of the bias being bearish. So now we just needed that entry point, which was waiting for the 1-hour structure to be broken. So the 1-hour low to be broken, which it did here. Now we wait for the pullback to happen, which was here. And then we see on the 5-minute time frame the pullback happening, and we just wait. We wait until price stops creating higher highs and higher lows. We see the shift, it creates equal highs before starting. Equal highs. Then we start to slowly create higher highs, higher lows. So this is our indication. Okay, we are ready to get into this trade. We either, like what I did today, waited for this low to be broken, or you could even wait for this low to be broken if you want to go a bit more aggressive, but we wait for this low to be broken, and then we just enter. Don't overthink it, just enter. We've got our stop loss on the other side of these highs, and now we just stay in the trade until the trend is broken. Okay, so internal versus external market structure. Okay, so the best way to kind of describe this is your external market structure is going to be on your higher time frames, and it's going to look very different. You have to understand that the different time frames are going to look different. We can go on the 1-hour, the 4-hour, and we can look like we're in a bearish trend. And then you can go on to like the 15-minute, the 5-minute, you're going to see also bullish structure. So we have to remember where our structure points are on the higher time frames, so that when we drop down to the lower time frames, that even when we see price moving in the opposite direction, we still understand that all of this is like internal. Internal rather than external. There's going to be internal like liquidity points where price is just reacting. It is a little bit of a long thing to get your head wrapped around. It's not really something that you probably understand straight away. You probably have to hear it over and over again. But yeah, hopefully that does make sense. Yes, I did make a loss, guys. Like I said, I wanted to be super transparent with you guys. Last week, I only traded twice, which I do usually trade a lot more than twice. but they were two losing trades. Last week was very, very hectic for me. My little one was, it was her first birthday, so all the family members wanted to see her, so I'm like going all over the place. Didn't really have time to like properly sit down and like look at the charts. I was not fully with it. And sometimes, guys, you need to know when not to trade. Like I said, I could have started revenge trading, but I was like, my head's not in it. I want to be present with my daughter. I took 2 losses, and I was like, I'm going to come back strong again, because we didn't go back into drawdown. I think it was around like, it was we was at like 900 in profit, then I went down to like 300 in profit. Now we're back up, and this is only Monday, so I think I'm going to do the other live stream with you guys on Friday. But yeah, I'm going to do my absolute best to only take high probability setups, but I'm going to be working massively on my mindset, because I've become very aware of things over the last couple of years where I've really knuckled down with trading, but now I'm trying to help other people overcome things. But you need to understand where these emotions even come from in the first place. So that's where I'm gonna move over now and talk to you guys about FOMO trading. We're going to talk about different mindset blocks each session, but I want to talk about FOMO trading because that was something that really came up for me today. Like I said, we broke out here, and for some reason I had like this huge urge to just get into a trade, because I just felt, oh my gosh, we've had a big drop, we've had a big move, I should have ended up here. I had like this feeling inside me that was very overwhelming, and I was like, I really want to just get into the trade. I'm not sure what's happening there, but yeah, I just really wanted to get into the trade, and I had to really stop myself with like all of my energy and all of my strength. So I started doing a lot of like research this morning on like where that actually comes from, like where FOMO trading, not FOMO trading, but just FOMO, the fear of missing out, where that comes from. And obviously trading is to do with money. So our relationship and our beliefs around money are very, very relevant. And like I said at the beginning of this stream, this is something that I feel like most traders just don't talk about, because I know you guys all want to talk about, the strategy, and it's great. We can talk about the strategy, but there's a reason why that people don't become profitable, because this is the part that they don't want to actually address. Anyway, I was like using AI, having conversations and like searching loads of things up as to like, I was like, why do I get this fear of missing out? Like, where does this come from? So when you can find out where this actually comes from, then we can start making a bit of a plan to actually help us get through it. Anyway, it got really, really deep. And I was talking to like an AI bot. It's really, really good actually. But it was asking me questions like, what are your beliefs around money? Like when you were growing up, like what is your views on money? I grew up with literally no money really whatsoever. My primary caretakers was like my parents. Like my mum, I always saw her struggling for money, and I saw her marrying for money as well. She had multiple marriages, and I saw that was because of money. So I have a very negative view around money, even though on like my outside I'm like, I love money. I love money. Of course I love money, we all love money, but actually money triggers a lot of weird emotions for me, which I didn't realize. And FOMO is like this fear that you need like this urgency to have the money right now. And like I said, I saw nothing but struggle when it came to money. And I remember like vowing and saying like, I'm never going to be like my mom. I'm going to work so hard all the time. I'd rather work every single day than, marry for money. I always said that. So I have like this urgency with money. It didn't just flow. I didn't have to just be patient. It didn't just come to me. I had to really fight for it. And then I started creating these beliefs of, the only way that we can get money is that we have to work super hard. Before I had my businesses, I worked like 3 jobs, and I was always still having money problems. I was always still getting into debt before. And when I had my business, I was working like 7 days a week, and I felt like that was the only way to make money. And if you guys haven't noticed already, that when it comes to trading, more is less is more. You got to do less. The more you do, the worse it gets. So like this internal belief about money, and I need to do all of this, and we have to have such an urgency for money, is like these beliefs that have been created within me from as far back as I can remember. So I want you guys to really sit with yourself and ask yourselves, like, what beliefs you have around money. What did you see growing up when it comes to money? Because first you got to become aware of your belief. Like I said, my belief is that you have to work so hard for money. You can't just be patient. You can't just sit there and wait. And to be successful in trading, you have to be able to sit there and wait until the opportunity arises. That wasn't my belief before. My belief was you have to do more and more and more and more, and that's the only way that you can make money. And you have to do it now, and you've got to do it fast, and everything. We can't wait. Like that's not how we make money. So that was my belief, and I never realized like how true that was when it comes to trading. I was like, the the AI thing asked me, what belief do you need to have to become successful in trading? And I was like, well, I have to just believe that the opportunity will come to me, the setups will show themselves to me, and I just need to wait and be patient. And I was like, damn, like that's such a big realization, because I was like, that's not what I believe we should be doing for money. So we got to rewire. I'm 28, 28 years of this coding of we need to do more, and we need to do it fast, and we need to do it now, and we're desperate for money. That's how I've been for basically 28 years. So now I'm aware of this. I have to start implementing this new belief into my life. And it's going to sound, a lot of people will sit here and say this is so irrelevant, but it's really, really not. Like I said, this morning I had this instinct that I had to just get in and just do the most. And I was like, but I know I shouldn't do that. Luckily, I'm becoming more aware, and I was able to control myself. I was like, where does this come from? Because I know better. And I know all of you listening, you guys know better too, but you still do it. So we need to first find out what our belief about money is, so that we can understand what our current belief is. And then we got to understand what our new belief is going to be. And then every single day, even if it's outside of trading, I want you guys to implement what this new belief is. So, the AI thing was like, how can you show how can you like kind of get yourself back into like a positive headspace, rather than this money obviously brings up like stress and trauma and desperation. We got to find a way to get ourselves in a different headspace. And it was asking me like, what would you like money to be to you? Like, what would you like the emotion to be when you're with money? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, the only things that I always think of, like when I'm thinking of like positivity things, I'm like, I'm so patient, I'm so loving with my daughter. I was like, I'd love for me to have the same relationship with money. I was like, yeah, do that. So it was basically saying we need to get ourselves in the right state to trade. So we're going to have to do things every single day, because the only way to change an old belief is repetition. Because for the last 28 years, I have been feeding into this belief that my parents gave me. And then I've continued with it into my adulthood. And now I have to change it. So don't overwhelm yourself by having a whole list of things to do. My first step to getting myself in the best possible state, because now I'm very aware, now I need to connect to something to move me away from that panic, that desperation state that money brings me. So one of the things that I'm going to do every single day is write down my daily wins, even if it's not making money. But it's to start to make my nervous system feel safe doing this, because where I'm like, playing with money is obviously triggering a lot of things for me. So we need to show ourselves that we're in a safe environment to trade, so every single day I'm going to write down my wins, and to really show, I do trading day in, day out. I need to make sure I end the day not on a money win, but on a win, so that I'm slowly starting to train myself that we're not in that desperation state. It did give me some other options as well, but like I said, it was like, don't overwhelm yourself with trying to do too many things. So one of the options was at the beginning of the day to kind of visualize like that calmness. You're visualizing, being patient, waiting for the trade to like come to you, whatever, all of that stuff. I can't remember the other few things, but I really hope that made sense. I'm just reading some of these comments. Yes, exactly that. That was a really good, short, quick explanation, Lowell. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. External structure, higher time frames, internal structures, lower time frames. It's going to take a little while for you guys to, if you're new to it. But yeah, that's essentially what it is. And the more that you look at the charts, the more you can kind of differentiate between the two. Drawdown, static or trailing. So today the drawdown, the stop loss was just, I just brought it to break even. But in trades like this, where you're just like following the trend, then after it moves past, so once it gets like here, this would be a really good indication for me to like start trailing my stop loss now, because we're actually respecting a trend line. But yeah, AI can definitely help with psychology, like just getting you guys to understand. But I had someone ask me what business was I in. I actually have a beauty salon, but I've recently decided to move away from that, leave that in the past now, because I feel like I'm at a different stage in my life. I actually had like a shop front and everything, but ever since having my little girl now, I just see myself in a very different lifestyle. I want to be more time and financially free, which it just felt like within my beauty salon I'd have to always be there. So I've actually decided to close the doors. I am here right now because I'm going to change it into my I'm going to do my content and stuff here, do it all up, make it all nice so that I could do content here. But yeah, that's my last business. I know it's so different to trading, but I've actually been trading way longer than I had my beauty business. Oh, thank you guys. But yeah, lack of money is messing with the psychology. Yeah, exactly. But I think I just wanted to share that insight with you, because I don't know, something really clicked for me when I was like looking into it, and I realized there was just so much trigger that money brings up for me, and I didn't understand why, because I'm not in that position that I was in, even a couple years ago or when I was growing up. But it doesn't matter, because it's all like in your subconscious mind. But you have to remember, you're literally working and playing with money. So whatever your relationship and your beliefs are around money, is going to affect the way that you trade. Like I said, there's a lot of triggers for me around money: being desperate, needing to do more. And that's what sometimes this like instinct inside me just comes out of nowhere, and I want to FOMO trade. And I couldn't understand why. And it was because I have like this extreme desperation for money. Not right now, because I actually don't need to be, but I've always been my whole life. And that hasn't gone until you decide to acknowledge it and to change those beliefs. So I'm on that journey. Hopefully with you guys too. I've been yapping away for like an hour now. So I'm going to love and leave you guys. We're going to be streaming again on Friday. We'll do, trade rundown, whatever, go through everything. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Like technically, the reason why I wouldn't be like kind of trading now is like volume is just very, very low, but we are, following this downtrend. And if you're like a continuation trader, you're literally like I said, when you drop down to those lower time frames, you wait for that corrective pullback, wait for that to change over. Technically, you could enter. But yeah, there's not enough volume for me. I would like to do a stream a bit earlier with you guys, but I know there's like a time difference from my tech team. But I'm going to be doing streams on my YouTube channel. So if you want to follow my YouTube channel, it's Doey Trades. I'm going to be working on some educational videos for you guys as well, just breaking everything down. So yeah, if you guys want to follow me there, I'll try and do streams more of the time that I trade, because it will be great to actually trade live for you guys. But yeah, these kind of times, like I personally wouldn't really be trading, because it's like, look how like slow price is moving. I need a little bit of volume. But yeah, Doey Trades on YouTube, guys. So hit the subscribe. I would really appreciate you guys. And also, like I said, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Anyone that uses DoeyFX with ThinkCapital, please do let me know. Reach out to me. Doey Trades is pretty much my name on all channels, so you can just reach out. Let me know that you use my code, and I'll enter you into a giveaway where I'll just be giving out giving someone a free challenge account. But yeah, thank you so much for jumping on, guys. Really love and appreciate your support, and I hope you have an amazing evening, an amazing week. Remember, get in control of those emotions. Go away and do what I've said, and figure out what your beliefs are around money, and you'll be so surprised at how relevant this is to trading. But yeah, all right, guys, I will see you all soon. See you later.